Welcome and welcome back, everybody, to the OK Grognard Show. Today is Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. It's about 10:30 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Today we're going to be looking at the first edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Players Handbook section on establishing the character. So what gives? Why so late? Well, I'll tell you. There was a little bit of construction going on, and I kept being told it was going to end any moment now, so I waited it out instead of canceling or announcing a delay, and, well, it's just finished up. So it's done now, and that's good, and we're all back to it and happy for it. What do we got on today? Oh, yeah, the Golden Voyage of Sinbad. I picked up this shirt during Harryhausen days last spring, early summer, I think it is, right? And that was fun. I need to watch a little more Harryhausen sometime soon, just to keep myself in the proper spirit. Players Handbook, that's that, right? Well, what's the section look like? I think it looks like this. It's on page 34. It extends from the bottom, very bottom of the left-hand column into the top of the right-hand column. And let's have a closer look and really check it out. The section says, establishing the character. By determining abilities, race, class, alignment, and hit points, you have created your character. Huzzah. Next, you must name him or her and possibly give some family background, and name a next of kin as heir to the possessions of the character if he or she should meet an untimely death. Some family background to personify the character. Having done all that, your dungeon master will introduce your character to the campaign setting. In all likelihood, whether the locale is a village, town, or city, your character will have to acquaint himself or herself with the territory. The first step will often be getting into the place, i.e., a gate guard demanding to know what business you have in the town or city. Therefore, it will be necessary to locate a safe and reasonably priced place in which to lodge. Typically an inn of some sort, but perhaps a rented cot, a loft, or even chambers at a hostel. Since the location selected will have to serve as base and depot, it must be relatively safe from intrusion or burglary. Once a headquarters has been found, your character can set about learning the lay of the land and attempt to find the trade establishments needed to supply the desired equipment for adventuring. Perhaps it will also be necessary to locate where other player characters reside in order to engage in joint expeditions. In any event, your character created, personified, and established will be ready to adventure once equipment is purchased and relations with other player characters are settled. If player characters are not immediately available, or if they are not cooperative, it is advisable that men-at-arms be hired. Hirelings of this sort, as well as henchmen, are detailed in the sections entitled Hirelings and Henchmen. So there you go. Quite a section there. It's an establishing shot, as it were. Once you've got your character and you get your name, some family background, that's something you should work out with your DM, I would suggest, rather than just say, well, I'm the son of a king. You know, you don't want the setting or the other player characters to be surprised by any of your choices, necessarily, without the DM understanding what's going on. Quite frankly, it's a whole lot of extra work for you to be the heir of an entire kingdom for the Dungeon Master. And that's a type of thing, well, not unheard of and not impossible to deal with. can take a little bit of extra work. And you want to make sure that that work is something that the Dungeon Master wants to take on. So once you get a village, town, or city, your character will acquaint themselves, and as it says, you'll have to get into the place. Now a lot of campaigns will start with the tried and true. You all meet in a tavern, and this might be the case here, but you'll have to get there. So the idea here from Gary is that you won't even really be familiar with this town or city or village. This is a place you've come to from your own place, which might be very familiar, or might be very small, or might just be a farm, or might just be, a big bustling city, but it's far enough away that the place you've come to here is a choice you've made when leaving the other place. So there's a lot going on there that can be created for your character to give some background. But again, all of this stuff should be worked out with the DM if he's got you walking into a small village where a bunch of other player characters already are so that you can get together and have fun with them. Then you want to be sure that any of the things that you'd like to make up, whether it's that there's a big city nearby where you're from, well, if the setting doesn't actually have a big city nearby, that's not really going to work very well. So make sure you clear all that stuff and work with the DM when making up those decisions. They talk about the place being relatively safe from intrusion or burglary. It's a base, but also a depot. It's a place you'll be revisiting as you explore places and start to gather up treasures and stuff, and you want a place where you can drop those things off, a storage unit, a secure room at a hotel that's not going to, or a tavern or an inn, an inn that is not going to be rented out from under you if you don't show back up immediately. You want to make sure you can keep it reserved so that your stuff is safe. Maybe the innkeeper wants to use the room for someone else while you're gone, and maybe he's got a back room, a place in his own storage room, a shelf or some place where your possessions can go that can be locked up so they'll be safe if they're stuff you don't want to carry around with you from adventure to adventure. But of course, the main thing is meeting up with the other player characters. And it talks about them being not cooperative. This is a pretty important section here. And of course, having a place, a general store, an armor, a weaponsmith, places to buy things should be in this town or village, or if not, you'll need to find them. But the other player characters, do you meet them right away? Do you get to know them right away? Do they agree to adventure with you? That's all great and well and good. If they have other ideas because they've been playing for a while, well, we're going back to this one place. Yeah, you might need to cooperate with them more than them with you if they're already established. So be prepared to do that. It's good to be a team member, and I try to tell players when I start a campaign, this is a team effort. You're not 5-6 loners that are all with your own agenda and not interested in working together. So keep that in mind. Getting a little loud outside already. We'll get some more of that construction going on. In any event, we can wrap it up here. I've said what I wanted to say about this section, but hireling and henchmen, I think I've got some videos on those too, so check those out. And that's about it. Establishing the character. It's a good overview. It's good to recognize that working with the DM is important, and it's also important to work with the other players and make sure that everyone's going to enjoy themselves when they're playing the game. So that was part of the Players Handbook. And just remember, it was part of the first edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Players Handbook section on establishing the character. And the show streams live on Twitch when it's not delayed each Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central. And then it's archived on YouTube. Like, subscribe, follow, all of that good stuff. It would be very much appreciated. Thanks very much, Vince, for joining me in the chat. I appreciate that too. And you can support the channel even at the free level on patreon.com. Tell us if Fat Dragon Games does so, and so can you. Carlos Lysing of Castle Entertainment, Heath Farndon of the AD&D 20, Dave O'Brien, unauthorized user, Dethangel Shadow, Heidi and Eric Gygax Garland of Gaxland, Vince Ragusa of the Maroon Room, who was in the chat today, an excellent prog rock band, Daniel Caldwell of Griffin and Gargoyle, Martin Thomas of Daddy Roll the One, a YouTube channel worth checking out, Christian Garcia, Stephanie Lesniewski-Gruchow, Cera Toppilopkus, Colin Szablewski, and, as always, Shane Bradley, DM Extraordinaire. This has been the OK Grognard Show from beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Thank you, and bye-bye.